Dion, we should all be smiling because we're football fans. We were treated to the game of the year down in the Bayou. The Niners and Saints combined for 94 points. I'm telling you, if we see this in a rematch of the NFC title game, I ain't going to be mad.
I'm not mad. Too bad both of these teams are in the NFC because that would have been a heck of a Super Bowl. That was entertainment at its best.
This the sort of come-from-behind win that Jimmy Garoppolo needed on his resume for us to all say, come January, he can do this and put on his big boy pants.
Well, we needed this to see that he's capable of doing this. We need a couple more of these against these caliber of teams to say, you know what, man, I trust you. The only question mark with the San Francisco 49ers, certainly not their defense, although they were hot garbage today. Certainly not their offensive outpouring. They ran the ball. They could run the ball well. They got receivers galore, and they got one of the best tight ends in the game. But can the quarterback stand and deliver under pressure? Can he win the big one? Will he not be fazed by the enormity of the moment? Today, he proved that he isn't. And that was a big confidence booster for the fans, for his teammates, and for himself.
You know, it's funny because I think sometimes on a lot of these shows, we tend to look for the negative. For me, this was just an awesome football game. I don't care that both defenses, which have been pretty good, and in particular the Niners this year, that they both give up, points in the mid to high 40s. That sort of stuff doesn't bother me for a game. But for the Saints, and you've been on them all year, are you starting to see some cracks in the foundation at all?
No, not whatsoever, man. They played against our number one defense in the NFL, and let me tell you something, man. They put up some points. Drew Brees, what the knock was on him. I haven't beat a team with 10 wins since Moby Dick was a minnow. Hey, who has beat a team with 10 wins consistently as a quarterback? Nobody. That's why they got 10 wins at this point of the season. But this team right here, and they're hampered up like everyone else with injuries, but man, did they compete? I know they were home. Home is worth at least 7 points, but they competed their butts off. They played some good, solid football. This is one of the best football games I've seen in a long time. I love good football, and they gave me just that.
That was fantastic. Sean McVay and the Rams feeling good. They are just a game out in the NFC playoff picture. Now, the same 6 teams are still 1 through 6 as when Sunday started, but it all kind of got shaken up. The Niners went from 5-1. The Packers went from 3-2. The Saints went from 1-3, and the Seahawks went from 2-5. I know it sounds a little confusing, but let's just talk a little bit about the Sunday night game. All right, so the Rams back-to-back impressive performances with wins over Arizona and Seattle. I know you counted them out a few weeks ago, but it looks like
I just don't trust them.
Still, even after this performance?
No, whatsoever. I mean, they play well when they want to. It's like a bad little kid, man. It's just bad for no reason. There's no reason they need to play bad at times. Then they come up and surprisingly they get up for the games it seems as though they need to get up for. But the games that they feel like they have an easy win, they don't get up for. This Jekyll and Hyde stuff, Houston, we're going to get to that later. They're playing the same exact way, and it frustrates me because they're too good to be that bad.
Isn't it possible that we should give some credit, though, to the coaching staff? Because this offensive line suffered a ton of injuries. They were remarkably inconsistent. Maybe it just took them a few weeks to kind of figure things out because they got slapped around by Baltimore on that turf pretty good a few Monday nights ago. So now they've started to put it together. Can't they put it together for a playoff run?
They could put it together for a playoff run. I mean, everybody been slapped around by Baltimore, and we got to quit giving passes because every team is dealing with injuries in the NFL. We can't pacify a team just because you're hurt. Everybody's hurt. You always give them a pass. Everybody's hurt. Everybody has someone significant hurt.
All I'm saying is that they had problems on the offensive line.
You live in California. I think you live in California. That may be why. Yeah.
Is that what it is?
Close to the stadium?
That's true. Shh. Yeah. Don't tell anybody, but 4 of the 5 Rams offensive linemen are my neighbors. Shh. Dion, don't tell them anything.
Yeah.
By the way, so, it's interesting. The Rams have the Cowboys. Then they take on the Niners here on NFL Network on that Saturday game. They finish with Arizona. They win out. If Minnesota slips up, you just never know. They could be playing January.
You never know.
You never know.
You never know. And all those teams that you just mentioned, they could beat. What he's saying that I've been through this journey. I know what it is to be a winner. You know that. I'm the best ever. Now these other dudes, some of these younger dudes, they hadn't been through the storm. And it's showing that they hadn't. They're inexperienced when it comes to games of this magnitude.
Okay.
That's what he's saying.
But with the 2019 Patriots, the past should not matter. What should matter right now is the present and the immediate future. And the immediate future, if I'm a New England fan, scares me offensively because for a month now they've been averaging 18 points a game. It feels like the only way we can score are on trick plays. That is not going to consistently get it done if they want to make it back to the Super Bowl. Dion, you know that.
Well, they're admitting right now in front of the whole country that the offense is lackluster. They don't have big players on the outside. They don't have nothing at the tight end that can warrant a double coverage or even win a one-on-one matchup. And you're getting Julian Edelman double coverage unless you have a trick play, and that's a problem. If the defense isn't provoking 2 turnovers and taking one to the house, this team has a problem scoring, and that's what it is. The running game is non-factor. Once upon a time, they ran at their leisure. Now they can't even do that. I mean, they're not gaining 100 yards on the ground. They're not consuming the clock. This team has a tremendous problem offensively, and they got to fix it.
Only took you the last, 5 weeks to build this case. So Dion has officially hopped off the Patriots train, is what I just heard. Correct? No.
I'm going to stay on the train because of Tom Brady. And Bill Belichick and Julian Edelman. I'm going to stay on the train and that defense. Because it's certain things, who are they going to play early in the playoffs? I mean, all the teams that they could possibly play in the early rounds, they could beat them.
Okay, but they might play. They might play the team that just beat them today. They've only had 3 losses, and it's to Baltimore, it's to Kansas City, and it's to Houston. Yep. So it's to the other 3 division leaders as you look at the playoff picture. But I do want to ask you a quick question about Kansas City here. I asked you last week, do they feel like a complete team? Because the defense has been improved. Their last 3 games are giving up.
They're not complete.
What?
No, they're not complete.
Dion?
You know they're not complete defensively. They played against a lackluster offense right now.
But it's an offense they could face in January.
They're catching this team at the right time. You think I'm going to clap with my feet for the darn Kansas City Chiefs defense, and we know who they are. That wasn't a great performance. That was a horrific performance by the offense of the New England Patriots. You got to really discern this thing when you're watching football. Keep a pad and a pencil, fans, by your couch or something, and understand what's what. That wasn't a great defensive performance. That was a horrific offensive performance by the Patriots.
Can I just seal it with this one stat, please?
Go ahead, please.
The Buffalo Bills are the only other team than the Kansas City Chiefs to hold the Patriots to less than 280 total yards. Boom! How you feel on that?
Was it in the last couple, 2-3 weeks, right?
Oh, stop.
What about before that?
Ian Rappaport saying there's a sports hernia injury, might need the offseason surgery. After the game, Baker Mayfield dipped his toe in the medical waters, and that could lead to some tough swimming.
You know, wasn't handled right. He's not able to run as well as he should be able to, as well as he knows, and that's frustrating for him. You can sense that's some of his frustration where that comes from. So it wasn't handled the right way in our training room. So it is what it is, and so his not 100% is still good enough for us.
What do you mean? What was not handled right?
I think he could have been addressed earlier on.
Baker came out like
Baker. It's young.
Yeah.
The things he's saying are being young and dumb. I'm not calling him young and dumb. The thing he's saying, I understand. I said some young and dumb things. He's going to roll over. He's going to regret it. He's going to clean it up. He's going to learn from it and mature from it. But trust me.
Yeah.
Equipment men and trainers, do not mess up with them. They're the backbone of every organization.
Yeah, you're right. I didn't mean to cut you off. I did want to say that Baker did go out less than an hour later on social media and said, listen, I didn't mean to throw the medical staff under the bus. That was not intention.
He did.
I know.
He drug him up under the bus by their toes.
Yeah, he's just got to be careful. And sometimes Baker, he's confident. He speaks his mind, and sometimes he just veers off track a little bit. So,
He's young. He says dumb things.
Yeah.
I said it earlier.
We got it.
Yeah.
So 1 week ago, we were giving them praise. They just beat the Super Bowl champs down in Houston. Next week, they got a big game against Tennessee. What? Really? You're going to point the finger at me on this one?
Because I told you, the week prior to that, what happened in Baltimore. They got the brakes beat off of them. Then they beat the Super Bowl champions. I said, guys, this team is unpredictable. You don't, Jekyll and Hyde, you don't know who you're going to get week to week, and that bothers me, man, because I know they have a couple real superstars on that team. J.J. Watt is out, so defensively they're not that fundamentally sound, but they can play. But when you lay an egg against Baltimore, you come and dominate New England, then you get the brakes beat off you by Denver, what am I to think? You're inconsistent and you're not ready for the lights.
Yeah, I understand a theme with you. You can be great or you could be bad because that's just who you are. You hate it when a different person shows up to work each week, don't you?
Don't tease me. Don't play with my emotions, man. I'm 52 years old. I ain't got time for games. Don't play with my emotions. And there's a few teams out there, that's all they do is play with your emotions. And I don't like it.
Are you
One
really,
bit.
You really 52? You look good for 52.
I look good, though, don't I?
No, man.
Look good.
You're holding it together.
Look at that skin.
Yeah,
that's right.
Got the hair.
I
Yeah.
think it's hair. Look at that. It's
Yeah.
hair.
If we had your age and my age, we'd get to the Century Club, my man. You look better than me, even though you got 4 years on me.